Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation. Here, I'll show you what is driving our problems, okay? You know there was another murder this weekend, right? Driven by another deranged shooter who also used fire and exploding devices in his car. Why? Poison propaganda. And I'll get to that, how we know. But if the guy seems to check familiar boxes, it's not a coincidence. This is going to keep happening. And the reason that we keep seeing deranged people killing for political reasons, and again, you're going to keep seeing it, is because these people are the canaries in the coal mine for the level of poison in our politics. They are uniquely, sometimes, mostly susceptible, more so than others, to online radicalization because of whatever mental or emotional struggle they have. No, I'm not saying people who struggle with emotional or mental problems are violent per se. They are not. It is what they are exposed to, and some are more susceptible than people who do not have those struggles. And that's why we keep seeing similar murderers. So many messages of violence about division and how horrible one side is versus the other. And those messages are amplified by social media platforms for profit by design. The man who committed the violence is to blame. And how to stop it is no simple question, but it has to involve dealing with this. You will never know how impressive the catch is that I just made, by the way. The most powerful man in the media just wrote something that would get him fired if he worked for any self-respecting company, let alone a media platform, okay? If we see an attack on the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, remember this moment. Musk sent this after the shooting with a screenshot from the Jewish group labeling Christian identity as extremist. Musk wrote, "The ADL hates Christians, therefore it is a hate group." Everything about this is wrong. And to be honest, I first went to Elon and wanted him to explain this to me about, because, the guy's a genius, and he told me to piss off, and then it said I can't send him messages anymore. And I find that regrettable. I was talking to him about maybe doing something on Twitter not too long ago, talk to his people. I don't believe in just, trashing platforms. I think that we all have to be involved in how to get him to a better place. But, he makes whatever choice he makes. I don't hold it against him personally, but I do hold how he runs his business and how he handles himself. I do take that personally. How could he think that the attack on the Mormon church in Michigan was inspired by the ADL? So I guess he does see some limits on free speech because he doesn't let me have my messages with him. I just wish he would limit his own speech. He must know that that report can't reasonably have anything to do with what just happened. First of all, the ADL report that he was referencing is from 2017, okay? I would also hope that a genius like him would know that the Christian identity movement has nothing to do with people like me who identify as Christian. It is a fringe fanaticism that is a well-worn hate movement, well documented for decades by the FBI and other groups. It's just the word Christian is in there. It has nothing to do with Christianity. These people believe nothing Jesus taught. They peddle that Jews are satanic offspring of Eve and the serpent, while non-whites are mud peoples created before Adam and Eve. You want to know what the Christian identity movement believes in? Look, this is what you want to defend. This is what you want to amplify. This is what you want to put above the safety of Jews in America. Christians oppose these savages, okay? How could you confuse the two? That's the wrong question. I don't think Elon was confused. And no, I don't think it's his autism. I think he knows this is what works on social media because he designed it to work this way. Why else would you appear to blame a murder of Mormons on Jews right after the event? In such an incendiary way, a reckless way, a way that should not be amplified to 200 million followers. But you know the answer. Why does Megyn Kelly yell at college kids on campus when it's supposed to be about debate with decency? Why is Don Lemon, my former colleague, calling white men stupid, weak bigots when he's married to one? Same reason Elon said Jews hate Christians. Because you've seen every one of those moments all over your For You pages. Because that's what resonates. That's what gets views. That's what gets clicks, because that's how the platform is designed. So are you really surprised at what we saw at the Ryder Cup? Are you really surprised that people have forgotten that this is a game of decorum and that you're supposed to represent your country as something other than a bunch of a-holes? Are you really surprised that a comedian influencer was there drumming up vulgar, whatever moments? This is what gets rewarded. Why do you think we have people shouting "Globalize the Intifada" on campus and running for office? This is what is being rewarded. And the trophy is a following, fame, cash flow, and scenes like this. What we saw this weekend. This is what it brings. For all the money, for the reach, for the fame, the resonance. This is where it leads. How do we know? A local politician who was going door to door this month spoke to the Mormon murderer. Lucky he's alive, right? The shooter described Mormons as the Antichrist, and the politician said he recognized what he was saying as standard anti-LDS Latter-day Saints, that's the Mormon church's name, talking points that he has seen on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. As long as social media is a free pass for whatever can sell ads and drive engagement, and by that I mean enragement, because that's what Elon and the other tech bros are really about. They've made the biggest fortunes in media history peddling the worst of humanity to humanity. There will be more violence. Don't be surprised, because you, and certainly Elon and the others, know why. So there's a lot for us to work on and to fix. But we reward Congress for refusing to act. That's what we reward. That's how you win. I will stop them. Social media, fixing the immigration system, a spending bill, right in the Constitution as the primary duty. But Congress seems more focused on who will get blamed for doing nothing for the shutdown. The president met with the party leaders. Did much change? Take a look.
Democrats are fighting to protect the health care of the American people. And we are not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of everyday Americans.
They want to talk about how to fix American health care policy. Let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together. But let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do. And the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown.
Let's see if we can do any better. You know, NewsNation is the only network that insists that members of both parties come on together and make the case together. And I love it. And I thank the members of Congress who come and join. There aren't many, but there's a growing number. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.